Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. Bryson with Dimes for Dollars here, and today we have a mystery box of some old pennies and nickels. Hopefully we have some wheat cents, Indian head cents, V-nickels, and buffalo nickels in the box. But let's go ahead and see what we got today. Our first bag looks like it's going to have mostly wheat pennies here. Looks like we got a couple flips as well. Let's move on to the next bag I saw in there. And there is a smaller bag, looks like it's got some older stuff in it. V-nickel there. We got some Indian head cents. That's an exciting one. And it looks like we also have some more wheat pennies. A whole bunch of them today. Alright, well, we got a lot of stuff to look through. I will sort it all out by decade and type, and hopefully we'll be back soon with a overview. Alright, we're back now after sorting it all out, and we have a lot of wheat pennies today. Starting off, we got a whole bunch of 50s wheat pennies. Unfortunately, we got two stacks here of heavily polished clean ones. We also got two stacks of steel cents, and you can see we got a lot of polished ones as well. We got a whole bunch of 40s wheat cents with quite a few polished ones also. We did get two really nice wheat pennies though. We have a 1952 Denver and a 57 from Denver, both in really nice shape. We got a whole stack of 30s wheat pennies, quite a few from the 20s and teens, and unfortunately one polished 1920 Philadelphia. We also had two 1909s, and this one's actually in really nice shape. We got a whole bunch of Indian head pennies too, and unfortunately one polished one. We also got one old Indian head penny from 1859. That's a thicker copper nickel composition. They call them fatty Indian head pennies. We got a little stack of buffaloes and a whole bunch of V-nickels as well. So lots of finds today. Hopefully we get some stuff for the books. We also have a 1932 as one of the flips here from Philadelphia. And we have a 1939 Philadelphia with some really nice toning to it. So that is an awesome find. And here is the reverse. There's some red toning going on there, and I really like it. Hopefully that's one that'll upgrade the personal album we have. But either way, lots of nice finds to cover. So I'll go ahead and put these 40s and 50s away, as well as the steel cents, and then we'll get into the rest of this and see what we got. Alright, well up first we have the 30s wheat cents today, and we have everything Philadelphia from 1939 all the way down to 1934. We also have a 38 Denver, 37 Denver, and a 34 Denver. For San Francisco's, we have a 1939 San Francisco, two 1935 San Franciscos, and a 1930 San Francisco. Both of our flips are also from the 30s, and surprisingly we still need the 32 Philadelphia for my own personal album, so we'll go ahead and do that at the end of the hunt, as well as make the upgrade with this really nice 39 Philadelphia. So we'll do that at the end. Let's move on to the 20s. We only got 8 wheat cents from the 20s out of all the wheat pennies we got today, but they were some pretty nice ones. Starting off, we got a pretty nice details-wise 28 and 29 Philadelphia. We got two 25 Philadelphias and a 1920 from Philadelphia that was unfortunately polished. And we also got a bunch of San Franciscos. We had a 1920 San Francisco, a 1921 San Francisco, which is probably the highlight of the 20s. That's a pretty low mintage one, only 15.3 million. And we also had a 25 San Francisco. So only 8 in total, but they were some pretty nice ones. Now let's move on to the teens. Alright, we're back now with the teens wheat cents, and we got quite a few of them, mostly from Philadelphia. We have a 1910 Philadelphia, 11, 12, 13, 14, no 15s, but we also got a 16, 17, 18, and a very nice 1919. Check out the detail on this one. That is a pretty nice looking wheat cent. It's well over 100 years old, and it has some really nice detail on the wheat stalks. We'll have to check that one for sure against the album, because you don't see them that nice too often. We also got two 1919 San Franciscos, and our only Denver one was a 1916 Denver. We also have two 1909s, a 1909 Philadelphia, no VDB, and a very, very nice 1909 Philadelphia VDB. And You know I checked that for a San Francisco mint mark over and over again, but no San Francisco mint mark. Still a very nice find, and that one will probably be an upgrader as well. That's an awesome one. So quite a few nice finds in the teens, and especially in the 09s. Now let's go on to the Indian head cents and see what we got there. Alright, we're back now with the Indian head cents, and we got quite a few of them today. So we'll start with the newest stuff and work towards the older stuff. We got two 1908s, both from Philadelphia. We got two 1903s, and this top one's the best one. It's in really nice shape. It's actually going to be an upgrader. Same goes for our one and only 1900. Still a pretty nice looking coin. We got one 1899, two 1898s, two 1896s, and 95s. We got one polished 1894, an 1893, 1891, and 1890. Moving on, we also got two 1888s, three from 87, an 1885 here that's going to fill a spot in the book. We also got an 1865 here, and that is an awesome find. It's one of the first years they switched to the current penny composition, and that is just a really cool piece of history. And we also got one copper nickel Indian head penny from the early days of the Indian head penny. This one's 1859, and that is another really cool piece of history. We got one better in the book, but still glad to have one. Now let's go on to the nickel finds and see if we have anything really nice there. Alright, well, we managed to save the best finds for last. We got some really nice finds in the nickels today. Starting off, we'll start with the Buffaloes. We got a 1938 from Denver, a 1937 and 29 from San Francisco, and three Philadelphias here. We have a 1925, 24, and a 1914. And it's not very often we see these older teens Buffalo nickels with a date, so that is a really nice find. Moving on, we also got quite a few V nickels. We have a 1912 from Denver, a 1911 Philadelphia, and a 1910 Philadelphia. We also got an 1899, 1897, 1896, and 1895. We have an 1893, two 1892s, and the top one's going to add to the book. We have two 1891s and two 1890s as well. We also have an 1888 and 1889, and the 1888 is going to fill a spot in the book. And up last, we have three really old ones. We have two 1883s, and we have both varieties, with cents and without. You can see this one has cents at the bottom. That is the second issue of that year. They actually started them without cents, but tricky people back then actually plated them in gold and tried to pass them off as $5 gold pieces. So that's why there's two different types. This one doesn't have cents. This is a really nice one, by the way, but we have a really nice one in the book as well. But this one's going to fill a spot in the book, so I'm really excited about that. But our last find here is really cool. We have a shield nickel, and this one is very old. In fact, we don't even know the date on it, but we'll definitely have to check it some other time. I don't feel like whipping out the Nicodate today and destroying a really old nickel, but that is a really cool find. So I'm definitely glad to have that one in the collection, and that is going to do it for the nickels. So now that we've gone through all the nickels, let's go ahead and go back through the pennies and make some upgrades and additions. And then we'll move on to the nickels and do the same. Alright, well, our first album is the Wheat Penny album, and we have three hole fillers / upgraders today. Our first one is a hole filler. It's a 1932 Philadelphia with a surprisingly low mintage. It's 9.1 million, and it is the last one we needed for this page, so this one is now complete. Our next one's an upgrader though. We have a 1939 Philadelphia, and the one in the book has pretty nice details, but this one, it's hard to say no to. It has some really nice detail, especially on the reverse. That is an awesome looking wheat cent. So I'll swap that one out in a minute, but before we get to that one, we got one last upgrader up here, a 1909 VDB. And it's not too often we see them in this nice a shape. This is a very nice looking coin, and that is going to be the last of the upgraders for the Indian head or the wheat pennies today. Up next we have the Indian head pennies, and we got one hole filler for sure and a couple upgraders. So let's get into it. I'll bring you back once it's all laid out. Alright, well, we're back now with the Indian head pennies, and we only got three coins today that are going to impact the book. Our first one is a very nice 1903 here. That's going to be an upgrader. Same goes for this 1900. And our one and only hole filler is an 1885. Now that we've gone through all these, that only leaves 1870s and before, and the two 1909s. So now let's move on to the Buffalo nickels and V nickels and see what we got there. Up next is the Buffalo nickel book, and we got 5 finds today that are going to impact the book. First off, we have 2 hole fillers back to back. We have a 1938 Denver and a 37 San Francisco. We also have 3 upgraders, a 1925 Philadelphia, 1924 Philadelphia, and a 1914 from Philadelphia. And just so you know, this book and the Wheat Penny book we just looked at are not the same ones that we're using for the series. These are my own personal albums that I've been working on for several years, and I thought I'd finally come back to them and see if I can make any new additions or upgrades. And we did today, so that is a big success. Now that we've gone through the Buffaloes, let's move on to the V-nickels. Alright, well, last but not least, we have the V-nickels, and I'm very excited today to add 3 new coins to the album. We have a 1892 here, 1888, and a 1883 with cents. That brings us within 2 holes now of completing this album. We still got plenty of upgrades to do, obviously, but let's go ahead and take a minute to look at the finds that we have and that we filled out. Starting off, we got a bunch of 1880s. One of the 2 remaining holes we need is 1886. And we got this whole page done, and we got some really nice ones in the 1890s here. 1896 and 97 are in fantastic shape, as well as in 1894. And for the last page here, our only other hole that we need is the very rare 1912 San Francisco. So we'll keep an eye out for that and continue to hunt for it. But that brings us so much closer, and I am so excited with our finds. And with that, that is going to wrap up today's hunt. So I want to thank you all for watching. It's been a very fun hunt. Hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.